Coming up next, we've got more Epstein cover-up news as Mike Johnson goes on Meet the Press to discuss the GhislaIne Maxwell interview. She was interviewed 2 days in a row by the Deputy Attorney General, who was Trump's former personal lawyer. Big conflict of interest there. And we're going to dive into the Speaker of the House essentially playing cover for Donald Trump. Now, before we get into what Mike Johnson had to say, we've got a fantastic viral video to share with you. This being Donald Trump's caddy, as they were playing in Scotland, takes a golf ball and throws it into a very opportunistic spot. This is massive cheating happening. Now, look, it doesn't matter. There it is on the left. You just see that. It doesn't matter on any real standpoint other than this is just ridiculous. Like, why? You don't need to. So I'm going to pause it for you, folks. There's his caddy. He goes down like he's going to tie his shoes and boop, there he goes. Drops a golf ball off right there. Oh, boy. And again, I believe Trump won that. But this is Kim Jong-un. Right? This is the greatest president of all time. Listen, Trump's pretty good at golf. Like, for his age and condition and all of that, he's pretty good at golf. He doesn't need to cheat, but again, I guess it's just not enough. Well, this is interesting. Here we have Pastor Jamal Bryant over the weekend delivering a speech where he calls out all of those that are not speaking up about the Epstein files. Have a listen to this.
Cut the bull, ladies and gentlemen. America is going to have to cut the bull. Somehow or another, they can't find the Epstein list, and they know that Trump is right on it. But I'm going to pause right here because I want to know what white evangelical pastors are going to preach this morning against a president who is accused of sleeping with 3 14-year-olds, but they will not hold him accountable, but they claim that that's God's man. Y'all better cut the bull. He's going to bomb Iran, and then y'all gonna say he deserves a Nobel Peace Prize. He deserves a peace prize like I need a hole in my head. You better cut the bull. It's 1 year since the fake assassination attempt, and Congress nor Senate has launched one investigation yet. You better cut the bull. They're getting ready to hire ICE agents at $100,000 a year with a $40,000 signing bonus, but you won't pay teachers what they are worth. You better cut the ball.
Now, I wasn't sure if this was AI or not because it's too good. You know what I mean? But there, I mean, look, I don't know anything about the assassination. As far as I know, it was an actual attempt. I can't get it through my head that they would fake an assassination, which also kills somebody because somebody died. You know what I mean? So I'm not going to speak towards that. But yeah, I mean, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous the amount of money that's going into some of these projects, really, like the ICE project, right? And they're paying a lot. I mean, they've increased their budget tenfold, and we can't fund our teachers. It's absolutely ridiculous. So good on this pastor for speaking truth to power and saying, where are my white pastors at? And honestly, I don't know where they are. I couldn't tell you. Because if it was really about doing what Jesus would want, don't we want to protect our neighbor, protect our kids? Don't we want to, anyhow, you know, I don't want to be a broken record here. Wild weekend, though, as Donald Trump posted again about Barack Obama. He posted this absolute wild recreation of O.J. Simpson fleeing the police in his white Ford Bronco. Trump's behind him driving this car, and then J.D. Vance is driving a different car. I mean, absolutely wild. And to think that they were mocking the O.J. Simpson, it's like beyond unpresidential. It's beyond racist. It's a whole lot of things. Let's go to Mike Johnson. Here we have Kristen Welker asking Mike Johnson about going on recess, and are we going to trust what GhislaIne Maxwell has to say?
He, of course, has been convicted of grooming, recruiting, abusing young teenage girls, along with Jeffrey Epstein. Mr. Speaker, Maxwell's attorney said she answered all questions honestly and truthfully. But do you think that GhislaIne Maxwell can be trusted?
Well, I mean, look, it's a good question. I hope so.
She has already been found, or accused of committing perjury in the past. I mean, why would she be trusted? Why would they trust her?
Hope that she would want to come clean. We certainly are interested in knowing everything that she knows. And as you'll note, in our House Republican majority, we're working towards that. Chairman Comer and our Oversight Committee has already issued their own subpoena. They want to bring in GhislaIne Maxwell as well. I hope she's telling the truth. She is convicted. She is serving a 20-year sentence for child sex trafficking. And so her character is in some question. But if she wants to come clean now, that would be a great service to the country. And we'd like to know every single bit of information.
The problem is, if she comes clean, how do we know she's telling the full truth? If she comes clean and drops a couple billionaires, Bill Clinton, a few others, but not Trump, how do we know she's telling the truth? And the truth is, we won't know.
That she has, I certainly hope she's telling the truth.
Well, listen, this week, President Trump didn't rule out a pardon for GhislaIne Maxwell. Of course, that's one of the big questions looming over all of this. So let me put this to you, Mr. Speaker. Would you support a pardon or a commutation for GhislaIne Maxwell, a convicted sex trafficker?
Well, I mean, obviously, that's a decision of the president. He said he had not adequately considered that. I won't get in front of him. That's not my lane. My lane is to help direct and control the House of Representatives and to use. And
again, the title there said spineless doesn't even begin to describe this guy. He's got bruised knees for taking care of Trump. Kristen Welker also spoke with Ro Khanna and Thomas Massie here. Now, Thomas Massie is he's a libertarian, but he's really the one Republican that's fighting really hard to release the Epstein files.
Accusing you of trying to inflict political pain on your party by criticizing him for adjourning the House early. Is he right? Are you trying to inflict political pain with this criticism?
I don't know why it should be politically painful to be transparent. Is the pain he's talking about that somebody in our party will be embarrassed by those files? Then that's not a good excuse. Is the pain he's talking about is that the legislators, when they vote, have to pick between protecting embarrassment of the rich and powerful versus getting justice for victims? I don't really understand what he means by that. Why is it painful for Mike Johnson to call a vote on this? We're trying to get justice for the victims and transparency for America. And so, we've redacted things before. We don't want to hurt the victims. We're doing this for the victims. I think it's just something that they're hiding behind. And at the end of that statement, I heard something about conspiracy theories or something like that. Look, they're the ones, it's the president's own attorney general, FBI director, and children who said that, and vice president, who said that these files need to be released. We're just trying to hold their feet to the fire.
There it is. Yeah. Period. Don't accuse anyone of stoking conspiracy theories. That's what they did for years. Let's get the transparency out there. Again, here's Kristen Welker doing the Lord's work, really. Speaking with Lindsey Graham. So here's what's interesting about this, right? Trump has accused Obama of committing treason, a penalty, with the punishment of death, right? He's accusing him of treason. And now we're looking back the clock and showing all of the Republicans and the bipartisan committees and all of the work that was done years ago to show that Russia colluded, or I should say Russia tried to influence our election. The general consensus is they didn't, but they had bot farms and they tried to sow division and do all the things that I would argue they did do. And here we can see, people just changing their tune. And again, this is all to deflect from the Epstein story.
There was already a Trump-appointed special counsel at the time investigating the origins of the Russia probe. It did not find any evidence of political interference. And Senator, at the time, you agreed with the findings of the intelligence community. I want to play back what you said at the time. Take a look.
Yep. The Russians did it. It was the Russians who tried to interfere in our election. Every member of the committee agrees it was the Russians. They didn't change the outcome, but they did release information embarrassing to the Democratic Party. It did affect Hillary Clinton. There's only one person in Washington that I know of that has any doubt about what Russia did in our election, and it's President Trump.
So he goes on and says, yeah, but there was more to those stories, like Obama's administration, used faulty evidence to, it's like, look, as people have said in the past, if you're going to make these accusations that Obama committed treason, follow them up and charge him with a crime. And we know that's not going to happen. Here's a giant story. This has been weighing on my heart. It's so hard to talk about. It's the war that's going on in Gaza. Well, there's been, I think they said at least 30 children have died of starvation. And again, when you talk about this, you get bombarded with people calling you anti-Semitic. And I'm not trying to make this about me. It's just so hard to talk about because you need to remind people every single time. When we criticize the Israeli government, we are not criticizing Israelis or Jewish people. It is not anti-Semitic to criticize a state. And the amount of collateral damage that has happened, both in Israel and in Palestine, is unbearable. And now we're watching children, moms, children, people all over that are not getting the nutrition. And it's been this way for a long time. It's absolutely heartbreaking. Well, now we can report there is a little bit of a solution coming. It's too little, it's too late, but they are airdropping food.
After mounting criticism over the starvation crisis in Gaza, the Israeli army has announced it will begin allowing foreign countries to parachute aid into the territory. The Gaza Health Ministry says more than 100 people have died from starvation since Israel cut aid supplies in March. That includes young children and babies. Prime Minister Anthony Albanese has released his strongest statement yet, slamming Israel's action in Gaza, calling it a humanitarian catastrophe.
Now, the Israeli government has said that Hamas has actually been stealing all of the food. But I'm not lying when I say that literally every organization, every news organization you can find that's been covering this says they cannot find that evidence that Hamas is the one holding up all of this food. So here it is. This is an actual video. And honestly, I had to fact check this because I didn't believe it was actually happening. But here's a video of Jordan and UAE airdropping aid into Gaza. I mean, it seems like a movie out of a dystopian hellscape. People running into the oceans to grab anything they can for their family. It is heartbreaking. You know, I a lot of times when I'm sourcing my material, I'll actually do it while I'm rocking my baby to sleep. So he'll be passed out on, literally on me, and I'll be going through my phone, and you see these photos and the videos of people running to the aid sites trying to get food, being shot at, and it's absolutely heartbreaking. And when we've watched when we learn in school about the Holocaust, and people said, why didn't anyone do anything to stop it? And now we live in a world where, on one hand, we have information we can access from the click of a button. But on the other hand, then we have people saying, no, this is fake, or they started, or you're mad at you got the wrong thing, or you're racist for even, caring about it. The world cares about this. And the world, even though some people have gotten, me included, have gotten to this story later than others. Barack Obama posted this yesterday. While a lasting resolution to the crisis in Gaza must involve a return of all hostages and a cessation of Israel's military operations, these articles underscore the immediate need for action to be taken to prevent the travesty of innocent people dying of preventable starvation. Aid must be permitted to reach people in Gaza. There is no justification for keeping food and water away from civilian families. Now, I've spoken to people that are so far gone that'll tell you, no, everyone in Gaza is a terrorist. They're all terrorists. They all deserve to die. People have said this to me. Not random bots, but people that I know that are so warped by what can come from war. And I have compassion, and if I ever do pray, it's for people like that are so wounded because they exist in a world where they're so hurt, and it's devastating, and we want to look away. But I urge people to look into the eyes of those that are starving, that are begging for food, and just try to empathize with that pain that a mom or a dad must feel as they know they can't provide for their kid. And the only reason is they were born in a place that didn't have the privilege that we have, and we can make that change. Now, I don't have enough time to cover it, but there was a video of a UN organization that said, look, these airdrops, they don't solve the problem. We got 6,000 trucks ready to go in. And then I'm going to get DMs from people as if I have anything to do about it that are saying, no, this is Hamas that's holding it up, and this is propaganda here and propaganda there. And I just wish our governments would show up to the front lines and figure it the fuck out. And I'm sick of everyone jockeying from far off land saying, you need to do this, you need to do that. We need to roll up with food and feed these fucking kids. That's what needs to happen. And if saying that is enough to piss somebody off and call me anti-Semitic, you got to do some soul searching. So we'll continue to cover this very sad story that, quite literally, it really should be the biggest news story in the world. And folks will say, wow, there's Egypt, there's this, and then in Ethiopia, and there's all these other places. I understand that. But we're watching something so senseless play out in front of us. And these innocent lives don't need to be any part of this war. All right, folks, that's going to do it from me. We'll be back this afternoon. I've got other content coming, so make sure you're subscribed to the channel if you aren't already. Leave us a 5-star review. God knows we've been hit. We have been hit with some of these bad reviews, but we're going to keep telling our truth, and I know you guys appreciate it. So we'll see you this afternoon. As always, twice a day, pop culture and politics. I'm Dave. This is The Rush.